talking about uh, the Indian culture. My my brother is my friend is Esteban Betancur Arazaza. My name is Cristian David Bonilla. Em, no sé, teacher, es un momentico que no sé si mi compañero ya
Está,
está.
sí, 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 aquí estoy.
Ah, ok.
Esta es la parte mía. Good morning.
Good morning, Esteban. Thank you.
Good morning. Today, I am going to talk about the Indian culture. Next. It refers to the social norms, ethical values, traditional customs, belief systems that originated or are associated with the Indian subcontinent. This includes India and Pakistan and other Asian countries. Indian culture is an amalgamation of several cultures that has a history of several millennia, beginning with the Indus Valley civilization. Food. Indian food is extremely varied and uses a wide variety of ingredients. One defining characteristic of Indian cuisine is the use of a large variety of spices, which are abundant in the country. A big portion of Indian food is vegetarian, but there's also a big variety of meat dishes. They are vegetarian because the Hindu religion is about non-violence. This means they try to not hurt other living beings. So many Hindus are vegetarian to follow this rule. And the most important and frequently used spices in Indian cuisine are
Ay, perdón.
I can send la cámara. They use chili pepper, chili powder, black mustard, and saffron. Next, this is a picture of many Indian dishes. Religion. An important aspect of the religions in India is the philosophy of non-violence. These two most prominent religions are Hinduism, Islam. Hinduism is the most prominent one, with 79% of the population, over 1.25 billion people. This is 15 to 16% of the global population. Hinduism. Prominent themes in Hindu beliefs include Dharma, which are ethics of our duties, Samsara, the continuing cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, Karma, action, intent, and consequences. This means that if you do something, it will come back to you. If it's a good thing or something bad you have done. Moksha, liberation from samsara or liberation of in this life. And the various yogas, paths or practices. Many Hindus are vegetarian. 23% of the Indian population, which makes it the country with most vegetarians in the world. The Ganges River is considered to be sacred and its waters purifying. Hindus perform a variety of religious rituals in its waters. They usually, when someone dies, they they drop the ashes of the person into the river and they bath in the waters because they believe it is purifying. But the river is currently very contaminated. It has many bacteria and is considered to be a danger to public health. Next.
Okay. Talking about arranged marriages. Okay. For the century, Indian society has had a tradition of the arranged marriage, marriages. Even in the 31 is its sanctuary for the vast majority of Indian. Their marriages are planned, and the other relevant family members, although it is almost always the future spouse who give their final consent. Um, the married Indians um, in the past marriages were performed when the spouse were still very young, especially in the Rajasthan. But with the modernization, the age has been recent in the laws, have been enacted to regulating the minimum age the marriage. History in the most families, the family property was transferred only through the male line of the inheritance. Signed 1956, Indian law has treated meaning the woman in similar term and the mother relating to inheritance in the absence of the legal will from the 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 clothing. An Indian woman completed their sense of fashion in the seduction with makeup and ornament. Common are pieces of jewelry such in bindi, and common are pieces of jewelry such bindi, hindi, a ring, a ring, earrings, and braceletes. On a special occasion, such in wedding ceremonies of the festival woman race, in bright colors with various ornaments of gold, silver, or the other region stone in gems. Tradition, traditionally, clothing in Indian varied significant between different parts of the country in is influenced by the local culture geography. For men, some version included pajama style pants with curtain and European style pants in shirt. And ornaments. Um Often the binding is essential part of the Hindu woman decoration. The binding colored dot work on the foreign hat is considered by some people to be an auspicious braid. Traditional red binding, the binding, was used only by married Hindu women. In colored binding was used by single women, but today all colors references have been incorporated into women fashion. The music. Today, Indian music includes multiple varieties of the religion, classic, folk, population, and pop music types. The prominent and for the contemporary Indian music are in film and Indian pop, film composed and with variety of music. The traditional Indian music, also known as Kartanic music or Katanaka, refers to the type of the music usually heard in composed in the South India. The word Kartanika has its origin in the Sanskrit language of the words Katanaka, Sanhitam, meaning precisely traditional music. Finish, teacher. Thanks you. Um,
Okay, Christian and Esteban, thank you very much for your presentation. Remember that I'm not giving comments to you. I'm just taking notes of everything you have been saying, and then I will give you a complete feedback afterwards. As long as your classmates also write some comments and give you some points about your presentation. But so far, so good. Thank you very much. So let's continue with another group, So Danilo and Andres. I'm going to share a screen for them. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you have any questions, guys? Anybody has a
sí,
question for Christian
everybody one question.
and Esteban? Any question? Talking about India. India, it's a very interesting place. Christian, why did you choose India? Christian and Esteban, why did you choose India?
I chose it because I think it is a very rich culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has a
Have
lot
you
of
ever
people.
been, Esteban, have you ever been there?
No, I haven't.
But you would like to go?
Yes.
Okay, okay, very interesting. Thank you, Esteban. Okay, guys, so let me continue. I'm going to share screen for Danilo and Andres. They are going to be talking about a different topics. So I will share the screen in a second and then they will begin. So next people are Andres Rojas and Danilo Borges, okay? Andres Rojas and Danilo Borges.
Okay, teacher.
Danilo, only Andres Rojas and you, right?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
El otro
teacher.
Andrés no.
No, profe, no.
Listo. Ok, chicos, dale.
Okay. My group is the topic of my group is Day of the Dead. And with my friends Danilo and me, Andres Rojas. Next, please. Introduction. The Day of the Dead is a celebration dedicated to our relatives who are no longer here. Those who went ahead on the road and passed away. This event is celebrated in Mexico, a commemoration that is cultural heritage in Mexico and also very common in other countries. Next, please. The Day of the Dead is a celebration of memory and a ritual of privilege and memory over oblivion. In pre-Hispanic times, the cult of the dead was one of the basic elements of culture. When someone died, they were buried and wrapped in a mat, and their family members organized a party in order to guide them on their way to Mictlan. In the same way, they put food that he liked in life, with the belief that he could he feel hungry. In this celebration of the Day of the Dead, sorry teacher, in this celebration, the Day of the Dead, that doesn't not represent an absence, absent but rather presence that is a symbol of life that materializes on the altar of earth. In this sense, it is a celebration that carries great popular significance since it includes several meanings from physical and to material. Next, please. When the Spanish conquerors arrived in the American in 5th century, they were terrified by the pagan practice of the Indians, and in an attempt to convert Native Americans to Catholic, they moved a festival toward the end the beginning of the November to coincide with the Catholic holidays of All Saints and All Souls Days. After the celebration for Halloween and All Saints Day, November 2 commemorates the Day of the Dead, which are the ancestors and coincides with the Catholic celebration of the Day of the Dead, of the All Souls. Next, please. Mexico City is hosting the numerous celebrations around the Day of the Dead, whether with offering in public squares, character, disguise, and style of the Catrina on pictorial expression on wax. It is a tradition that doesn't go unnoticed. Also, the offering are placed braids or offering in Halloween celebrated. Next, please. It is customary to put the offering from the height of October 31 and it is removed until November 3. When should the Day of the Dead be placed? According to someone historian and popular belief, the altar of the dead can be placed on November 1 and 2. That was important in mass American culture. The underworld was called Mictlan, and Mictlan Cuchin was the Lord of Death. The final destiny of people was determined by the behavior developed in life. From these times comes the relationship that the Mexican have with death. The Day of the Dead ritual allows us to approach our final destiny without fear to discover and love ones. Death is afraid of respect, but he approaches it with love to hide the fear. Next, please. Continue Camilo Borges, Danilo Borges, profe.
Okay. How does it reflect the Mexicans? ¿Me escucha, profe?
Sí, Danilo.
Okay. Sorry, teacher. This vision of the dead reflects the relationship of Mexicans with their dead. Not with the dead, but with their deceased. Next, please, teacher. Continue, Andres.
Teacher. The underworld was called Mictlan, and Mictlan was the lord of death. The final destiny of people was determined by behavior developed in life. From these times comes the relationship that the Mexican has with death. The day of the ritual allows us to approach our final destiny without fear to discover love and want. That day is afraid or respect, but he approached, he loved to hide the fear. Continue con Danilo.
Okay, what does Altar of the Dead have? Altar of the Dead is a representation where the people know of the about Day of the Dead. It is a fundamental element in this day. The people believe that the dead come back in this day to spend time with their families, basically. These altars are conformed the next way. They are placed in a room, on a table or shelf, where the levels represent of strata existential. The most common are the of two levels. These represent the sky and the earth. Instead, the altar of three levels add a vision from purgatory. Also, there are offerings. For example, the picture of that, placed in the high part of the altar with a mirror in front to dating their families. Also, the incense. These clean the bad energies. And also the ark. The ark represents the entry of the world of the dead. Objective of festival. The Festival of Life and Death tradition seeks to keep the various and ancestral tradition of Mexico's Day, the Dead, as well as being a window to show the world the vast culture of this country. Through ancient customs, different contemporary artistic expressions. This very Mexican tradition is preserved. Or in this day. Basically are the dead, but other Trinax, which are schools very artistic, and also the devil, another gods. Basically, this is the tradition that do in this day.
We are going to show you a short video for you.
What is the Day of the Dead?
So Day of the Dead is a celebration that has been around in Mexico for over 3,000 years.
Arturo Babalito, aka Dr. Babalito, is co-host of the YouTube channel Unsettling Journeys. He explains that the Day of the Dead
It's an opportunity for peoples of central Mexico, more than any other place in the world, to invite their deceased loved ones to partake in a celebration, more specifically a dinner party. peoples of Central Mexico, they create altar pieces, and in those altar pieces, they offer food. And it's in the idea that for instance, somebody that might have died a year ago, they're gonna come in and have dinner with you. So more than anything, it's a party and a celebration for those that have departed.
The tradition reveals an understanding of death different from Western ideas.
Today we have a very Judeo-Christian idea of heaven and hell, a very binary system, and the idea that you're gonna rejoice in heaven or suffer in hell. Back in the day, prior for the arrival of the Spanish, the dead dying was just for the deceased person to go to a place to rest. And it will take them 80 days, 80 jornadas, 80 days to get to that place, in 80 days to come back. So it's just an opportunity for you to bring that people from their rest to join you in a celebration of both of their rest and also their lives. For some people, it may sound like a morbid custom, but the reality is that prior to this Catholic meaning that it has gained in the past 500 years, it was something very, very normal.
Dr. Babalito says the Day of the Dead has changed over the years.
Now with movies like Coco and Hollywood, the celebration of Day of the Dead, it has gained more of a commercial success, and it's lost a little bit of its original meaning that again has been around in Mexico for over 3,000 years.
Day of the Dead is not, repeat, not some version of Halloween.
Somehow, today, especially in the United States, the Day of the Dead has become linked to Halloween, and it has been linked almost to a tragedy. So they always celebrate tragic things. But in Mexico, it was a celebration, and that's something that I always want to remind people, because a lot of the tones of Day of the Dead are almost too obscure. And if you see, for example, altars in places like Puebla in central Mexico, the altars are full of light with white materials. There's a lot of colors, so it's not this Nightmare Before Christmas thing that we celebrate today, you know?
And Dr. Babalito has a recommendation for the best way to approach the tradition.
It's not like Happy Mother's Day. It's not that type of celebration. It's an opportunity to appreciate life, to understand the fragility of life, and to celebrate our Latinx communities and heritage. When you're not part of the community, it's not to be completely outside of it. It's just that it's important to ask, to observe, and to partake into the celebrations in a respectful way.
This is Inside Edition Digital.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you, Andres. Thank you, Danilo. It was a very interesting presentation. Again, remember that no comments in this moment, but I took a lot of notes for you, and then I will give you the feedback. But in general terms, thank you very much, because it was a very good presentation. So, guys, who's next? Are we missing some people? ¿Quiénes hacen falta, chicos? ¿Falta alguien o ya todos presentaron?
Yo creo que ya son todos, profe.
Ya están todos. Ok.
Profe, la compañera que la vez pasada, que el grupo de ella se presentaron los dos primeros, pero ella, no sé por qué, pero no se presentó ella, que habló con usted.
Valentina Lozano.
Pues no sé quién es, pero sé que ella no expuso, pero habló con usted.
Sí,
profe, es ella.
Es Valentina Lozano. Ella ya, bueno, no, ella tiene muchos problemas de conectividad y otros asuntos personales en este momento, entonces por ahora ella no hace la presentación. Tal vez la hagamos solitos, pues, o bueno, puedo invitar a alguno de ustedes para que me acompañen, así sea en otro horario, cuando ella tenga la disponibilidad esta semana de presentar. Chicos, entonces, como
Profe, perdón, ¿cuántos somos? Porque yo tengo en este momento la calificación, pues en la tabla de 21.
Sí, está
más
bien.
Nosotros 3, 24.
Pero sí, falta Valentina y falta Andrés, entonces sí, ahí están, Patricia. Está súper, gracias. Gracias por confirmarme eso. Son 26 en total, y bueno, no está Andrés Aristizábal y nuestra Valentina Lozano. Entonces ahí están los 26. Bueno, chicos, terminamos entonces. Voy a parar la grabación en este momento.